So, this is a story about an auditor who was chased by a group of angry men when he visited a car dealership near Birmingham. It started out as any other audit, with a rude, obnoxious manager who didn't understand the importance of public relations, of PR. He was an absolute douchebag, honestly. And I always hate it when auditors are treated badly, and especially when they're spoken down to, like they're beneath these people. And a lot of these people that speak down to auditors are earning less than the auditors themselves. So I think it's really interesting how a lot of auditors manage to keep their cool, which this auditor does in this video. He keeps his cool, and it's good content. It's interesting how this auditor manages to respond to someone being so rude to them anyway. But it was an exciting video. It was an exciting audit, and we all enjoyed watching it until this point. But then it takes a turn. So while he was leaving the dealership, the auditor was approached by a woman who seemingly works at the establishment, and this is the moment that she comes out. So as you can see here, the woman tries to grab his camera, and the auditor actually has to push her hand away. And obviously, she didn't like this. She wanted to have that camera. She wanted to own that camera of this auditor. So she was not having this. So she called for backup. And what happens next is actually quite scary. So while he's making his way back to his car, these cars start turning up. You see one car, you see another car, and then you see a Range Rover start to pull in to this turn in here. And I'm not sure whether the auditor knew at this point that this Range Rover was even coming for him. But when he crosses over, it becomes pretty obvious who the Range Rover was coming towards. And just check this out now. As you can see, he's almost run over by the Range Rover, and this big guy gets out of the car. You see the guy's biceps there. I don't know what backup she called, but this looks like the Solihull Rugby Club. Seriously, these guys, I would be absolutely terrified if this happened to me. I mean, not only did he almost get run over by a Range Rover, but the guy jumping out looks like he could crush someone's head with his 2 fingers. So it's absolutely terrifying. So the auditor, knowing that he's outnumbered, as you can see, more people jumping out of the car here to deal with it as well, he decides to run. He decides to book it and get out of there as fast as he can, and runs into a local factory and makes his way through to the back of the factory, still being pursued by these crazy people who are trying to get his camera, trying to get his footage, because it is clear that woman assaulted this cameraman, and I think they wanted to destroy the evidence of that as well. So as you can see, the auditor is now running out to the back of the factory, trying to find a place where he can go. And as you can see, when he goes back in the building, we actually see one of the guys who was chasing him from before running down the aisle towards him. There you go. So there's a guy right here running down. And the first time I watched this video, I didn't notice this guy. But then I watched it again, and I was like, oh my God, they actually came in to this business as well. So there is that guy coming in as well. And so there he is making a run for it. As you can see, all the other workers in this warehouse are wearing high visibility vests. And that guy that was running through wasn't. So very, very interesting there. So here he is running out the back, trying to find a way to get away from these crazy people. And then he obviously realizes there's no other way out. He had to climb over a dangerous fence, which climbing over one of those fences is dangerous in itself. But did you see what he jumped into with all these nettles and everything? So this is absolutely mad. And you can see the Range Rover there in the car park of the factory, still on pursuit of this auditor. I would be absolutely terrified by now. I actually don't know what I'd have done at this point. So as we can see here, the auditor had to do something really dangerous to get away from these people, because he had to cross a live railway line to get away from these guys. That is how pressing this situation was. And as you can see here, all the brambles and everything that he's going through, this must have absolutely killed, honestly. The determination to save his footage is amazing. So he also lost his drone as well. And eventually he finds a place to hide in this storage facility. And the police eventually do show up, actually, and kind of de escalate the situation. They calm the auditor down and they try to help him find his lost equipment. And I think just what a crazy situation this is, and how this could have gone differently if this auditor hadn't acted quickly and realized the danger that he was in at this point where he was on the road. Like, because you have no idea what they were going to do to him. We might not have ever heard from this auditor ever again if he hadn't have ran when he did. So it is always very interesting to see these kind of interactions, but it is quite scary at the same time. And this is a reason why people like me and other people, while we enjoy watching auditors and are fully supportive of auditors as well, this is why we don't want to get involved. This is why we don't feel like we can get out there. It's because it's not safe. It's not safe for photographers out there. And that's why auditing is important. That's why citizen journalists are important. That's why I support them as much as I can. Because it's an important thing to say that these people are out there fighting for our rights, for public photography. And when something like this happens, if you're filming, like, and people do this, you have every right to film. People shouldn't be telling you to stop filming. And then if they get aggressive, like, you have every right to call the police and get them involved. So it's absolutely crazy what is going on.